Hello, and welcome to another episode of Better English Step by Step. This is your calm, long-form English learning podcast, where we take the rush out of learning. We believe that to truly master a language, you do not need to hurry. You need to understand, listen, repeat, and remember. I am Sarah, and I will be your guide for this hour. And I am Mark. It is great to be here with you all. Today, we have a very special session planned. It is a topic that I think every single learner struggles with at some point. That is right, Mark. Today, we are talking about the gap, the awkward gap between small talk and real talk. We all know small talk. It is the polite, safe conversation we have with strangers or colleagues. We talk about the weather. We talk about traffic. We ask, "How are you?" And we answer, "I am fine, thank you." It is important social glue, but let's be honest, it can get boring. And more than that, it can feel lonely. You might be speaking perfect English, but you do not feel like you are really connecting with the other person. You are just exchanging information. Exactly. Many of our listeners tell us that they want to have deep conversations. They want to talk about hopes, dreams, memories, and opinions. They see the concept of deep talk, and they want to do it, but they freeze. They don't know how to get from "nice weather today" to "what is your biggest passion in life" without sounding strange or rude. It feels like jumping across a canyon. If you just ask a personal question out of nowhere, it can be too much. So today, we are going to build a bridge. We are going to teach you 3 specific bridge phrases. These are sentence patterns that native speakers use to naturally, politely, and smoothly steer a conversation from the surface to the deep end. We are going to walk through each phrase slowly. We will explain why it works, we will show you how to use it, and then we will practice it together with plenty of speaking drills. By the end of this hour, you will have the tools to turn a boring chat into a meaningful connection. Before we begin, if you enjoy these long, relaxing study sessions and want to build your English confidence step by step, please make sure you are subscribed to the channel. It helps us keep creating these lessons for you. Now, take a deep breath, relax your shoulders. Let's start building our bridges. Let's begin with the first problem. Often, when we are in a conversation, we get stuck in interview mode. We ask a question, the person answers, and then we ask another unrelated question. Do you like this city? Yes. Do you have a car? No. Do you like spicy food? Yes. It sounds like a police interrogation. It doesn't flow. To get to deep talk, we need to shift from gathering facts to discovering feelings. We call this first technique the curiosity shift. The curiosity shift is all about changing how you ask questions. Instead of asking a simple yes or no question, or a question that starts with why, which can sound a bit aggressive, we use a softer, more thoughtful phrase. The phrase is, "I have always wondered." I have always wondered. Let's look at the grammar here for a second. It uses the present perfect tense, have wondered. This suggests that your curiosity started in the past and continues up to now. It tells the listener that you have thought about this before. It makes your question feel valuable, not just random. That is a great point, Mark. When you say, "I have always wondered," you are paying the other person a compliment. You are implying that they have the answer to something you've been thinking about for a long time. It invites them to teach you or share their perspective. Let's look at an example. Imagine you are talking about travel. A standard small talk question would be, "Do you like to travel?" The answer is usually just, "Yes, I do." It's a dead end. Now let's try to use the bridge. Instead of, "Do you like to travel?" you could say, "I have always wondered what kind of traveler you are. Do you prefer relaxing on a beach or exploring a busy city?" Notice the difference. You are not just asking for a fact. You are asking for a preference, a style, a personality trait. You are opening the door for them to explain who they are, not just what they do. Let's try another scenario. Imagine you are talking about work. Small talk is, "What is your job?" Real talk uses the bridge. You might say, "I have always wondered how people choose their careers." Did you always know you wanted to do this job? That is a beautiful shift. Suddenly, you are not talking about the job description. You are talking about their life path, their childhood dreams, and their choices. That is deep talk. Let's do one more before we practice. Imagine you are discussing food. Small talk is, do you like sushi? The bridge phrase version would be, I have always wondered why sushi has become so popular globally. What is your take on it? What is your take on it is a great addition there, Sarah. It means, what is your opinion? But starting with, I have always wondered, makes it safe for them to give a long answer. Exactly. Now we are going to practice this. I want you to get comfortable with the rhythm of this phrase. I have always wondered. Listen to the stress. We stress always and wondered. I've always wondered.
I will say a sentence using this bridge. Then Mark will repeat it. Then I will leave a quiet space for you to say it out loud. Do not just listen. Move your mouth. Speak to the room. Let's try. Here is the first one. We are asking about someone's morning routine. I have always wondered how successful people start their day. Now Mark. I have always wondered how successful people start their day. Now you. Good. Let's try that again. Focus on linking the words I have into I've. I've always wondered. I have always wondered how successful people start their day. Excellent. Let's try a different topic. This one is about learning languages. I have always wondered which language is the hardest to learn. Now Mark. I have always wondered which language is the hardest to learn. Now you. Very good. Can you feel how that phrase creates a soft landing for a big topic? It is not aggressive, it is curious. Let's do one more practice with this phrase. This one is about the future. I have always wondered where you see yourself in 10 years. Mark? I have always wondered where you see yourself in 10 years. And you? That is a big question, but the bridge makes it easier to answer. If you just asked, where will you be in 10 years? It sounds like a job interview, but I have always wondered makes it sound like a philosophical discussion between friends. So that is bridge number 1, the curiosity shift. Use I have always wondered to turn a yes-no question into an invitation for a story. Now, let's move to bridge number 2. This one is called the relatability link. This is my favorite one, Sarah. The relatability link solves a very common problem. Sometimes someone tells you a story or mentions a fact, and you do not know what to say next. You might say, oh really? Or that is nice. And then the conversation dies. Right. We want to keep the conversation going, and we want to deepen it by connecting their experience to our experience. Connection happens when we find shared ground. The phrase for this is, that reminds me of. That reminds me of. It is simple but powerful. It signals that what the other person just said triggered a memory in your brain. It validates them. It says, I was listening to you, and your words matter to me because they connect to my life. It is the perfect way to transition from their topic to a deeper story of your own without stealing the spotlight. You are building on their topic, not changing it. Let's look at an example. Imagine your friend is complaining about the rain. They say, it's been raining for 3 days straight. I hate it. Standard small talk response. Yeah, it is terrible. I hope it stops soon. That's fine, but it stays on the surface. Let's use the relatability link. Friend, it's been raining for 3 days straight. You, that reminds me of the time I visited London. It rained every single day, but we ended up spending hours in these cozy little bookstores. Do you like bookstores? See what happened there? We took rain, which is boring, and we used the bridge, that reminds me of, to move to travel and bookstores, which are much more interesting topics. We pivoted from the weather to a memory, and then we invited them back in with a question. Let's try another one. Imagine someone says, I'm really tired today. I stayed up late watching a movie. Small talk response. Oh, which movie? Was it good? That keeps us in the shallow end. Let's try the bridge. That reminds me of when I was a student. I used to stay up all night watching movies because I didn't want the day to end. Do you ever feel like you just need more hours in the day? Wow, that went deep very quickly. We went from watching a movie to the philosophy of time and stress. And notice the structure. Step 1, listen. Step 2, use the bridge, that reminds me of. Step 3, share a short memory. Step 4, ask a deep question related to that memory. Let's practice this phrase. That reminds me of. Notice how the T in that can stop abruptly, and reminds flows into me and of. That reminds me of. We will do the same drill. I say it, Mark says it, you say it. Here is the first sentence. We are connecting a comment about food to a childhood memory. That reminds me of the cooking my grandmother used to do. Mark? That reminds me of the cooking my grandmother used to do. Now you. Good. Make sure you pronounce the S in reminds. It's easy to miss. That reminds me. Let's try again. That reminds me of the cooking my grandmother used to do. Excellent. Let's try a second scenario. Someone is talking about being busy at work. You want to connect it to a past experience. That reminds me of my first job where I had to work weekends. Mark. That reminds me of my first job where I had to work weekends. Your turn. Great. And one more. This acts as a bridge to talking about school or education. That reminds me of a teacher I had in high school who really inspired me. Mark. That reminds me of a teacher I had in high school who really inspired me. You try it. Perfect. You are doing a great job. Remember, the goal of this phrase is to offer a piece of yourself. Deep talk is a two-way street. You cannot just ask questions. You have to share your own inner world too. That reminds me of is the safest way to do that. We have covered curiosity and we have covered relatability. Now we have one more bridge to build. Bridge number 3 is called the observation pivot. This one is for when you want to read between the lines. Sometimes people say things, but they mean something deeper. Or maybe you notice something about their behavior or their tone. The observation pivot allows you to talk about your intuition. The phrase is, it seems like, or it sounds like. This is very useful because it is tentative. You are not saying you are angry. You are saying it seems like you are frustrated. It gives the other person space to agree or correct you. It shows empathy. Deep talk requires empathy. It requires noticing how the other person feels. If you can accurately reflect their feelings back to them, they will open up. Let's look at an example. Imagine someone is telling you about their weekend. They say, I cleaned the house, did the grocery shopping, walked the dog, and fixed the car. Small talk response. Wow, you were busy. That closes the conversation. It is just a summary. Let's use the observation pivot to go deeper. It seems like you really value being productive. Do you find it hard to just sit still and relax? Now we're talking about personality and values. We moved from chores to productivity versus relaxation. Let's try another one. Someone is talking about their job. They say, I have been working on this project for 6 months. It is finally finished. Small talk. Congratulations, that is great. Deep talk with the observation pivot. It sounds like you are really relieved. Was it a stressful project? Or you could go even deeper. It seems like you are the kind of person who really commits to things once you start them. That is a powerful observation. When you tell someone, it seems like you are the kind of person who, they will almost always stop and think. Everyone loves to be analyzed. Everyone wants to be understood. If you say, it seems like you are very creative, or it seems like you care a lot about your friends, you are inviting them to discuss their identity. Let's practice this structure. We will practice both it seems like and it sounds like. They are very similar. It sounds like is usually used after hearing a story. It seems like is more general. Let's practice. Listen to the flow. It seems like. Here's the first sentence. You are observing someone's passion. It seems like you are really passionate about this topic. Mark. It seems like you are really passionate about this topic. Your turn. Good. Try to put some warmth in your voice. You are making an observation, not a judgment. It seems like you are really passionate about this topic. Let's try it sounds like. You are reacting to a story about a difficult situation. It sounds like that was a really challenging experience for you. Mark. It sounds like that was a really challenging experience for you. Your turn. Very good. And let's try one that targets personality. This is a great compliment to give. It seems like you are someone who really values honesty. Mark. It seems like you are someone who really values honesty. You try. Wonderful. These 3 bridges, curiosity, relatability, and observation, are your toolkit. You can carry them with you anywhere. You do not need perfect grammar or a massive vocabulary if you have these bridges. They do the heavy lifting for you. Now that we have practiced the pieces, it is time to put them together. We are going to do a simulation. In this section, Mark and I are going to have a continuous conversation. We will start with small talk, and then we will use the bridges to go deeper. I want you to just listen first. Notice when we use the phrases. Notice how the topic changes.
We will start with a very boring topic, commuting, driving to work. Mark, did you hit much traffic coming in today?
Actually, yes, it was pretty bad. The highway was completely stopped for about 20 minutes.
Oh, that is frustrating.
Yeah, it is. But I just listened to the radio. It was okay.
You know, I have always wondered how people stay calm in traffic. I usually get so stressed. Do you have a special trick for staying patient?
That is an interesting question. I guess I just try to accept that I can't change it. I use the time to think.
That reminds me of an article I read about slow living. The idea is that we should enjoy the waiting moments instead of rushing. It seems like you naturally have that mindset.
Maybe. I think I learned it from my dad. He was never in a rush. He used to say, "We'll get there when we get there."
It sounds like he was a very wise man. Did he teach you a lot about patience?
He did. He was a gardener, so he had to be patient. You can't rush a plant.
Wow, I have always wondered what it's like to grow up with parents who are that calm. My house was always chaotic. Did you hear that? We went from traffic to slow living to parents to childhood. It happened in less than 1 minute. Let's break down what happened. Sarah started with a small talk question. Did you hit traffic? I gave a small talk answer. Then Sarah used bridge number 1, curiosity. I said, I have always wondered how people stay calm in traffic. This shifted the focus from the cars to my psychology. Then Mark answered about acceptance. I used bridge number 2, relatability. I said, that reminds me of an article about slow living. I connected his answer to a broader concept. Then I immediately used bridge number 3, observation. I said, it seems like you naturally have that mindset.
That observation made me think of my dad. The conversation became personal. Then Sarah used bridge number 3 again. It sounds like he was a wise man. And finally, she used bridge number 1 again. I have always wondered what it's like to grow up. It is a cycle. Curiosity, relatability, observation. You can mix and match them. Now we are going to do the simulation again, but this time you are going to participate. This is an advanced shadowing exercise. We will have a conversation, but we will leave silence for you to speak the bridge phrases. I will tell you which bridge to use before the silence. You have to speak it out loud to keep the conversation moving. Are you ready? The scenario is, we are at a coffee shop. I am Mark. You are my friend. We are talking about coffee. This coffee is actually really good today. I needed this. Now you need to use the curiosity bridge. I want you to say, I have always wondered why coffee is so important to us. Go ahead. That is a deep question. I think for me, it is the ritual. It is the one time in the day I just stop and smell something nice. Now use the relatability bridge. Say, that reminds me of my morning routine. Go ahead. Oh yeah, what is your morning routine like? Now answer simply. I just sit by the window for 10 minutes. Go ahead. That sounds peaceful. I usually check my email immediately, which is a bad habit. Now use the observation pivot. Say, it seems like you want to change that habit. Go ahead. I really do. I feel like I am always connected to work. I miss having quiet time. Excellent work. Do you see how you are guiding me? You are leading me to talk about my work-life balance just by using these simple phrases. You are the conductor of the conversation. Let's try one more simulation. This one is shorter. The topic is weekends. I'm so happy it is finally Friday. I have no plans for the weekend, just sleep. Use the relatability link. Say, that reminds me of my perfect weekend. Go ahead. What does a perfect weekend look like for you? Answer, just reading a book and not talking to anyone. I get that. Sometimes talking to people is exhausting. Social battery involves a lot of energy. Use the curiosity bridge. Say, I have always wondered if you are an introvert or an extrovert. I think I am an introvert who pretends to be an extrovert. It is tiring. Use the observation pivot. It sounds like you need some time to recharge. Exactly. That is exactly what I need. We introduced 3 powerful tools. Tool number 1, the curiosity shift. I have always wondered. This moves us from facts to opinions and history. Tool number 2, the relatability link. That reminds me of. This connects the current topic to our own memories, creating a bond. Tool number 3, the observation pivot. it seems like, or it sounds like. This allows us to show empathy and read between the lines. We practiced the pronunciation, we practiced the rhythm, and we simulated real conversations about traffic, coffee, and weekends. Now I have a challenge for you. We call it the One Bridge Challenge. In the next 24 hours, I want you to have a conversation. It can be with a colleague, a friend, a tutor, or even a stranger in a shop. It can be in English, or if you are not in an English-speaking country, you can practice the concept in your native language first to feel how it works. I want you to use just one of these bridges. You do not need to use all three. Just pick one. Maybe you are at lunch with a coworker. Instead of talking about the food, say, "I have always wondered what you do on the weekends to relax." Maybe you are chatting with your English teacher. When they tell a story, say, "That reminds me of something that happened to me." Just one bridge, and then watch what happens. Watch their eyes. Watch how their posture changes. Usually when you invite someone to deep talk, they relax. They lean in. They become more animated. Connection is what we all crave. And as language learners, connection is the ultimate reward. We do not learn English just to pass tests. We learn English to understand humans. These bridges are your keys to unlocking those human moments. If you found this lesson helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel. We are building a library of these calm, step-by-step lessons to help you reach your goals without the stress. And if you want to keep practicing, you can listen to this episode again. Repetition is the mother of skill. The more you hear these phrases, the more automatic they will become. You want them to be ready in your mind so that when the moment comes, you do not have to think. You just speak. I have always wondered. That reminds me of. It seems like. Simple phrases, deep connections. Thank you so much for spending this hour with us. You are making great progress. Every step you take gets you closer to the English speaker you want to be. Be patient with yourself. You are doing just fine. From Sarah and Mark and everyone here at Better English Step by Step, have a wonderful, deep, and connected day. We will see you in the next lesson. Goodbye. Goodbye, everyone. Keep building those bridges.